Can you start it now?
Yeah, you're up.
Hello there, my crypto brothers and sisters. It's glad it's glad to have everybody here with us. We're gonna be live tonight, so be sure and get ready to ask us some questions. We got Mr. Papa Ron here, and we got a special guest, Mr. Trades, and we're going to be talking to him. And I'll have Ron introduce him, tell a little bit about our guest tonight.
Thanks, Rod. Hey, we stumbled on Mr. Trades live on YouTube, and it kind of caught my curiosity because he was live, and yet it said that he was trying to turn $5,000 into $50,000 by trading cryptocurrency. So obviously it caught my attention. So I kind of tuned in, and Rod and I have talked before about, how does all this trade thing work, because we generally buy our crypto and we hold it.
That's
now, yeah,
right.
we've traded things back and forth, but we don't do these spontaneous trades trying to skim some profits through that. So we contacted Mr. Trades, and he was gracious and kind enough to spend a little time with us tonight. So we're hoping that he can shed some light on how the professionals do this. So let me bring him on right now. And there he is. Mr. Trades, thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys being on here. Rod and Ron. I don't know if I would call myself a professional yet, but I definitely do want to shed some light on what I do and how you guys can kind of do what I do. And so I know you got a lot of questions for me. I know you kept blowing me up, asking me to get on that insider trading. So
yeah. Listen, let me kind of
more professional than we are.
Let me kind of set this up. What we'd like to do, Mr. Trades, is kind of go over some basics. Now, we've all got exchanges. We kind of want to know what a trader does. Does he use a certain exchange? Does he have to start with so much crypto in there? Is there just certain coins you look at? And then maybe we can get in a little more depth about how you analyze those coins and what looks like that specific time, what looks good to you. So I know you're prepared to bring up a chart or two. So when you do that, we're going to kind of go to full screen so people can see what you're navigating on. So you go ahead, and we might pop a question here and there.
Yeah, let me do that. Let me get my screen over here. You got that good?
Yeah, that's great.
Alrighty. Well, your first thing you were asking was like the exchange question. You were saying everyone's got their exchanges, but you were saying, is there anything specifically that I do? Or in between for my exchanges? Do I go to a certain one? Do I use only one? And the answer to that question is a big fat no. I think you should be on as many exchanges as possible if you're trying to be a trader in the truest sense of the word, because there's arbitrage opportunities between these exchanges. Just for that alone, I mean, that's just pure money right there. So you need to have these accounts open. But there's a whole bunch of other reasons why. For example, availability. Think about it. Coinbase only has 2 coins, or possibly 3, I believe. I haven't used Coinbase often. I don't use it at all. There's specific reasons for it because of the fees. But they have Bitcoin and Ethereum. Same with Gemini, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what if I want like Sidecoin, or what if I want BAT? I have to go to another exchange. So by having an account on all these exchanges, that's the key right there, is because it also allows for liquidity in case that you do have a situation where, say something gets introduced on Poloniex. Well, you're able to go over to another exchange that's had it for a week now, and you can be one of the people leading that first initial bull run up to get that price spike. That's a really important way to make some good money. But secondly, what if one of your exchanges only allows you to withdraw $2,000, or it has really bad customer support? So then you have another exchange that you're like, well, I know this exchange will withdraw up to 50 grand, no questions asked. They get that done. They don't have long delays on support tickets. They're really nice customer support. Everything about them. So you're always going to take your money out of that one exchange, but you'll trade across all the other 5 that you use.
Ron, I hear you typing.
He's taking notes. He's like, okay, this is it.
Okay, is that what he's doing?
Well,
I hear a bunch of banging.
Sorry, I didn't know that. But the people in the chat room are saying that we're lagging some, so I was just apologizing. I'll be quiet on my fingers. Go ahead, Zach.
So yeah, this is Gemini that I have up here, and this is just one of the main ones that I'll use, just because this is the good customer service. This is the medium volume. It's got enough volume to be able to make the money when you need it, to be able to bill when you need it. It's not going to leave you hanging with the volume. So these are all important things you look into. This is Gemini. There's Coinbase, like I mentioned. That's the most popular one. Everyone's got that. And then there's the smaller ones like Bittrex. Bittrex is fairly a new one that I found, mainly for BAT. But they're on the ball. They have 5 pages of cryptocurrencies. It's just, it's insane.
Wow.
So and it's key to be able to be on all these exchanges. You can even get on the Chinese exchanges so that you can play the Chinese markets. And that's really cool because they get up at certain times of the day, and you'll see that they'll have price spikes or price drops throughout the day that the American exchanges don't respond to. 2 weeks ago, the price difference between the exchanges was astronomical. I think Ethereum was around 170, and the Korean exchanges, which you couldn't get on the Korean exchanges, but just to give you an example, they were $300. So there's a huge possibility there. So it's very important to have a lot of exchanges already set up, ready, verified, have all your methods done and tested, and know which ones you like and which ones you don't like.
Well, Mr. Trades, also,
yeah.
also besides having those currencies or exchanges set up, there is so much backlog right now. Even if you're just going to buy normal crypto, I mean, the wait sometimes, like Kraken, it's over a month to get set up on them. So it's best just to get these things open, whether you're going to trade or not with them, I guess.
Yeah, well, this is kind of unfortunately the, how do you say, rush hour for cryptocurrencies. I almost like tax season. It's the worst time to set up an exchange, but it's the best time to run an exchange. So it's going to have those wait times, and that's where it gets. It's an advantage to have as many exchanges as you can to play with, just for that reason. What happens if one exchange gets DDoSed? And if you keep half of your stuff between 5 different exchanges, or if you split up your portfolios, that gives you that opportunity to be able to kind of save yourself. If one exchange goes down, you need to sell. If there's a big price drop, if it gets hacked, but that's security, and that's in a whole other world when you start thinking about security and all these exchanges. That's something else that's important. You should be thinking about that as well. If one exchange has really bad security, you don't keep all your money on there, and you use it on another safer exchange. So these are all things you can think about.
Do some exchanges take less money to open them up than it does other exchanges?
No, so there's no price limit in terms of what you need to deposit. In terms of traditional forex trading or different types of online trading that you're used to, they have minimum requirements, and some of them are insane, some of them are mediocre. None of that in the crypto world. In the crypto world, because it's so volatile and the prices are so small originally, I don't think that they ever put up those limits, just because originally Bitcoin was how many pennies on the dollar, and it wasn't a big thing that they were asking people to invest thousands and thousands of dollars into. And I don't think it's ever caught on. There's a few things like in GDAX, which is Coinbase's more advanced trading platform with less fees and more it's more inclined for advanced traders. But on that platform, they now I lost what I was saying.
Mr. Trades, while you're thinking, will you take your screen off so we can...
Yeah, let me get that up. I'm sorry. Let me pull that off.
You're good. There we go.
Cool.
Now we're all 3 back on.
There.
So the one... go ahead.
Yeah, so I remember the GDAX has if you want to get verified to certain levels, then yes, they do have a minimum requirement. So most of the ones I've seen, you can get verified to be able to play with and deposit certain amounts of money. Say if you want to deposit 10 grand, well, for a lot of exchanges, to get to 10 grand, you're going to have to go through all the steps of their verification to be able to put that money in and be able to withdraw that money. And then I think it goes from average, it depends on every exchange, but around 2 grand to 5 grand, and then 25 grand. And then, after that point, you have to be a corporation or show some sort of income that you're using. It gets real complicated at that levels, but for the average person, just being able to throw in $50 to $10,000 is really not hard. It just is a matter of uploading a picture. A lot of them, you literally just put up your ID to your webcam, take a picture, then you smile next to it, and that's it. So it's not hard.
Now I got a question, Mr. Trades. One of the comments on the chat room is Polynex. I mean, some of the exchanges, their price of Bitcoin varies some. Is it eternal fees within that exchange, or what would cause the difference in price? Any idea?
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the internal policies of the exchange itself. For example, Poloniex, they'll shut down wallets. They'll say we're having a problem, or you can't deposit during times of high volume. So say Siacoin, for example, Siacoin was tanking, and they disabled the wallet, and it was a big problem in like the troll box and whatnot. But the thing is if a situation like that happens, then the people can't withdraw out, and it will create a price difference because their money is essentially stuck. And another situation, like in the Korean example, where they were $300 and Ethereum was like 170, 180, that was because in Korea, they have a limit on how much money you can pull out every year as a citizen, and it's like 50 grand, and it's a national limit, and so it makes the whole country of South Korea really difficult to deal with the profits of cryptocurrency and pulling money out, and so it creates a fake difference in supply and demand. So that's one of the reasons why.
Perfect.
Another reason could simply be the user base. For example, if you think of Poloniex, they're normally shy on the Bitcoin price. They're always a little bit lower than the average American exchange. And the reason mainly is just the user base. The user base there is not a Bitcoin loving user base. It's more about altcoins and things like they think Bitcoin is antiquated. And that's a small factor into the play, but sometimes it gets exaggerated. For example, if something tanks or whatnot, you may see that Poloniex is going to respond more aggressively than another exchange will. And some exchanges are known for, like Gemini, for example. I like that they sometimes, at least in the past with the Ethereum run-up, have been very solid in their responses to these tankings of the market. So Poloniex will dramatically react and drop $7, and Gemini drops 30 cents. And so, you can play those swings, but you got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing, things like that.
So that's another reason why you're more partial to Gemini then.
It just depends really. I went into Gemini today and I used it today. I didn't use it yesterday. Yesterday I was on another one. The majority of today I've been on Bittrex. Like I say, you got to really play it. But it is a safe bet. Gemini would be my safe bet. So if, for example, if I just did a killer trade and I had $1 million to cash out with, the only place I would do it would be Gemini. That's the only place I could see it. And at that point, at $1 million, it'd be hard.
So have we covered some of the basics, or are you going to kind of show us what you do when you get on screen, and what else should we be knowing about this right now?
Well, it all really gets into, after that, once you have your account set up, it's all into where you putting your money. And so there's so many options. For example, you were talking that you were thinking about getting into Siacoin. And so the first thing I do is I have to do what every trader is going to do. I don't instinctively know if Siacoin is going to go up or down. I have to look at the charts, and you have to analyze the charts and think about it. And with cryptocurrencies, it's a little bit different than a traditional stock or something, because it's similar in a lot of ways, because you have a viable product essentially. You have the coin, the currency itself, right? So Bitcoin is not just Bitcoin. It is a series of programming steps that are revolutionary in its era. But then as soon as you have a new coin that comes along and adds one new feature, that new coin in theory should be priced higher than Bitcoin, right? If it's everything the same, it just has an extra feature, it should have more value than Bitcoin. But so there's few similarities and differences you have to know when you look at things. So immediately for Siacoin, if you were going to say, well, I don't know much about Siacoin, what do I have to do? You got to do your research. You got to figure out how many Siacoins are out there. What is Siacoin? Is Siacoin a token? Is it a currency? Because there's a difference. And then you go from there and you figure out, is this something that I want to put my money into? it's not something that you're going to do the same thing for every single time. Just like in traditional stocks, there is no, checklist where it's like, well, yeah, we have a bull flag there, and yep, green volume there, and so it's not necessarily like you always are going to be able to do that. But can I show you the screen of Sidecoin?
Yeah,
I wish you would.
Yeah, let's see that, and let's look into. I'll show you what so I haven't looked into Sidecoin or anything like that, and here it is. This is the 1 hour candlestick, and you can see that it's got a real nice rise, right, from very bottom. This is on Poloniex, and of course it wants to go screwy on me. So when you get something like this, you have to start thinking, well, if I'm going to buy in, is this the time to buy in? And when you look at something traditionally like this, if you know anything about technical analysis, you might think that this looks like it's a bull flag, and or a few other things that you could potentially think it is, but most people are going to say that this is a bull flag. And when you look at something like that, immediately some people say, well, then you should buy it. But there's so many more factors you have to take into account because it's cryptocurrency. We have to go over and we have to go to CoinMarketCap. You don't have to go to CoinMarketCap. There's a lot of other places, but this is just the one I use. And we're going to Sidecoin, right? So let's type in Sidecoin, and let's see. Okay, so Sidecoin right now, it's about almost 2 cents. It's up 22%. It's got a $500 million, so $500 million market cap. That's important to know because the next thing you're going to look at is look at the supply. We have 26 billion tokens. That's a lot. That's a lot. And that's probably one of the reasons why it's been low for so long. When you have that many tokens, in order for it to go to $1, it has to have a $26 billion market cap.
Mm-hmm.
And $26 billion, well, if we go back real quick, let's go back. We still haven't looked about anything else. We're just looking at the numbers yet. We can look back. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, NIM. So the top three is 46 billion, 26 billion, 10 billion. $1 would be 26 billion. So that would replace Ethereum to get up to $1. Now, of course, $1 is dramatically a huge spike from the 1 cent it is, but that's just something you look at when you're trying to figure out when you're entering and when you're going to exit. So we're looking at this, and now we're going to see what realistically is the rise that we can expect out of this. We're going to pull back, and we're going to see, well, we went from here, and if you notice, the peak of this rise is the mid-level support for the low of this rise. And so that tells us something. It tells us that about from here to here, we can look at and expect it to be added on essentially on top of this peak if it were to shoot up as a bull flag. So if we were to look right here and we're looking at 584 to 745, so that's let's just say 250, rough numbers. I didn't do the math right, but 250 to 700. That's looking at potentially the nines and reaching up to the nines. If that's a potential profit for you and you can see that, then you might want to place your bet on it because by getting up to that number, when we go back to the market cap, you're not going to be in something unrealistic. That can easily sway a few hundred million in a day on a pump. So if you can see that this can go up, it's at 500 million, and if it can go up to 800 million, 300 million, that's what, like 2/3 of the current market cap that would come in as a pump, which isn't really unrealistic for a small volume coin. So if you see that gets pumped up, there's an opportunity potentially. Then yeah, there's definitely an opportunity to be able to make a short buy in and buy out. Am I going to buy in on Sidecoin particularly? I don't know. I'm going to watch, and I'm going to get more in on this chart, and I'm going to start seeing at what point does it need to cross in order to be considered, a breakout trend, and then it is breaking out, and then I'm going to monitor. And if it gets to that point, then I'll probably, if it gets close to that point and starts confirming everything that I'm drawing on the lines, then I'll probably buy in because it makes sense. And until that point, I won't buy in.
Don't you feel this just comes with a lot of experience, though? I mean, this just seems natural to you.
Well, yes and no. So when you look at this, what do you see? Do you see any pattern here?
No, I see everything low.
Okay.
I see it going up, but not at the trend as it did on the first part of that spike, that high spike. See how fast it went up? Now it's just kind of leveling out.
So, you know, when you're changing your brakes on a car, the brake pads themselves, you can't explain them or draw them to someone unless they really look at them. It's so much easier just to point at it. And until they know what the brake pads look like or have been shown what a brake pad looks like, they're not going to be able to change their brakes. And so it kind of is a matter of experience, but it's almost not, because you just have to see that this is a bull flag. What I'm going to do is Google bull flag, and you'll see bull flag pattern. And you kind of just gotta know these patterns, and that's part of technical analysis. But when you look at these, you can see you can almost just match it. It's like picture matching. Here's a good example. You can see you have a steep run up, and then you have a little play, right? And this little play is actually a squiggle line. And if I can give you a better example of what I mean by squiggle line right here, it goes up off the top, bounces down. It's a zigzag essentially. And you know, there's a million different names for these, but you can see that. And this is for a pennant, but a bull flag is the same thing, just with less play. And so when you look back here at your LiteCoin chart, you know, doesn't that kind of look oddly, you know, if I draw a line?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, see, I don't know what the hell you're talking about before.
And so it's not so much as experience. It's just once you see it and you know, like, okay, so that's what this is. And you could be wrong. This is all speculation, right? Sure. And the only reason it's true, here's a real good one. This is what I was talking about by squeaky line. So you see we came up and we had that little bounce off, right? And then that means we're going to come back up. And these are different flags. And so the bull flag is when you're coming up, and it literally looks like a flag. Like if you were to hang this outside, here's the pole that you hang in the ground. Here's the flag waving in the wind, right?
Oh, okay.
And then a bear flag, a bear, because bear is a downward trend of the market, is literally inverted. If you take this flag and turn it upside down, like your ground was up at top, that's what this is right here.
That's a bear flag. Okay.
And that means the market is trending down. So then here's a pennant, and you can see they're very quite similar, except this comes to a point right here, and these come as parallel lines together.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Oh.
Very cool.
You see, I learned something. Thank you.
Yeah, there's so many videos on YouTube for this. Like Informed Trades is a really good video, and that's what I always tell people on my stream to start with. He'll go into all different kind of patterns, and it gives you vocabulary as well to be able to Google and go from there.
Informed Trade?
Informed Trades, yep. He's got 77 videos on a playlist.
Oh, cool.
So what? And we'll put that in the description link down below. But Mr. Trades, what are some of the popular coins that you've been following lately? What, you know, you've got your program where you've taken a base amount of money and you're trying to turn it into so much. Are there just certain coins you're working with, your favorites, or do you just scope it out as long as what's moving after you do your analysis and stuff?
Well, if I'm doing day trading, then yeah. I'll be doing what's moving on my analysis, what pops up on the day, like the LiteCoin play. It looks like it could be a good short-term play. I might throw a few Ether onto that. But I do have some favorites, particularly, for example, I have long-term holds. I think everyone should have long-term holds. They're just things that you put your monthly revenue into because you know over the long term their value will go up. These long-term holds are... yeah, they're kind of my favorites. You know, they're my personal favorites in the crypto field. But they're also really smart investments, and I guess that's why they're my favorites. For example, BAT, Basic Attention Token. Known about BAT for a few months. It just came out and it blew up, and so that just confirms all these things about it. And then you have things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, the classics, right? I am a strong believer of Bitcoin, although there's some scruff going on, and I kind of can't do anything with Bitcoin until August. Because you know
the BIP 148.
So yeah, and I think it might be a little overreacted, but at the same time, I don't want to get burned when I know that Ethereum is going to go up regardless, anyways. So might as well just switch out for the short while, right? And so there's things like that.
Well, let's take a look at that BAT on your screen. Do you mind?
Yeah. Let me pull it up here. So I love BAT, man. Tell you a little bit about BAT. BAT is Basic Attention Token, and the guy who made BAT is the creator of JavaScript. JavaScript is the world's largest, most popular programming language. And the guy who created that created this token because of making JavaScript, online ads were invented. If there was no JavaScript, you would not be able to do online advertising. So he invented online advertising as a byproduct of his programming language. In that course, he has had a lot of dealings with online advertising, ways to combat it, ways to change it and affect it, because he's updating JavaScript, etc., etc. He also is the creator and founder of Mozilla Firefox, the browser Firefox.
Oh.
So he's like a VIP in the tech world, really high up there, and he's got this coin. So automatically you should be thinking, okay, how do I buy in, right? Because when you look at coins like really successful coins like Bitcoin, who made Bitcoin? No one knows, right? Satoshi. That's it. So there's no background in that, but yet people have invested $47 billion into that, into this framework, right? So what do you think they would do when you have a team of people that you do know that have real life practical experience in doing things like that? And that's bad. And so as you can see right now, his performance has been quite subpar, and that is okay. And it's due to the lack of volume because it's only on like 3 exchanges at the moment. But according to this graph, it should have a tight rebound right now, going back up into the 11s. And so that's going to be a real nice profit play. What I've done is I have long-term holdings in BAT, quite a bit of it, and then I have short-term holdings that I'm trading every day throughout the day to just increase the amount of BAT that I can put into my long-term holdings. Because right now it's like 21 cents, 23 cents. And as soon as it gets up in volume, probably by the end of the summer, it should be around $1. And that's not really unrealistic at all when you look at the market cap and things like that, when you take into account for growth. So there's a lot of promise here. And I'm excited.
So go through the chart, Mr. Trades. I mean, to us, it looks like it's just a downhill trend. But what do you see that would convince you that, hey, by the end of summer, something might be looking here?
So one of the things I look at is volume, and this is a very challenging chart. First off, because this is 4 days of trade history, and that's it. 4 days. The token itself has been out for a week. There's like no news yet. It's brand new. So this is not even stock trading can give you experience for what to do in a situation like this, because there's never been a situation where you have a stock sell out 36 millions in 23 seconds. You don't have situations where you're in the in-between stages. So I could be completely wrong. It could tank like what we're talking right now. It's very volatile, and it's a penny stock essentially, right? It's the penny stock of cryptos. So it is going to be very volatile. But here's one of the things I look at. Do you see at the bottom the volume? See how these red lines spiking up?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more than there's blue, that's for sure. And then do you notice about right here, that kind of stops? All the big red spikes kind of stop. And now for the past day, we've kind of been different, right? There's a difference. Yeah. You can see there's a, you don't know what, but there's a difference, right?
Right.
Well, also look at this. Look at the time period. If you look at the time period, there's actually 2 blocks. You can see the black blocks in the background, right? These are 2 blocks, and that signifies 1 full day. Well, for 1 full day, the price has stayed right here. Do you see that? It's kind of just stayed around this spot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, for 1 full day yesterday, from this block to this block, this price, it kind of stayed. It fluctuated a lot right here, and it went down here. But for this day right here with this block, you can see there's a massive fluctuation down, and then a little bit correction up. But regardless, what I'm trying to get at is there is a lot more downtrend previously before this point. So you have volume signifying something, you have the trend changing signifying something, and that's without drawing anything yet. That's without having any specialty lines on here. That's just looking at what the chart tells you. And so that automatically should tell you, well, it feels like something might be changing. So let's look at some things then. Let's add some things to help us. Right here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the SMA, which is one of the tools that I do like to use a lot on this program. So these tools just give you different different signs of what's going to happen in the market. And one of the things is these blue bands. Look at these blue bands right here. These blue bands, the farther apart they are, the less chance there is for the price to go up. The closer together they are, the higher the chance there is for the price to go up. And if you go back to a spike in price, you'll see the bands are very close.
Okay,
you can see
Mr.
right
Trades,
here.
so explain that. There's a top blue line and a bottom one. So the closer they get together, the more possibility of going up.
Sir. There's a possibility for essentially it's velocity of movement. So if it's potential the closer they are for a faster change. So if they get really close together, it means there's a lot of energy building up that can be released. Whereas if they're very far apart, there's a less likely chance.
Okay, then slow down now and tell me where you got those blue lines. Did you click a button to bring those up on that chart?
So in this chart with CryptTrader, you can go up to this button right here, and they're called Bollinger Bands. And you just turn them on. You click on this button, you turn on Bollinger Bands. You can do the same for like Emoku Clouds. That's another tool, and that will change things. You can just turn them on and turn them off. Let me turn this off. Oh, well, you can turn them off from up here. My bad. Right here, there's an X. So, yeah, you can look at these bands, and one of the bands is like they're pretty close right here. You see that, right? They've been close for quite a while. So that's a good sign that something can happen. When we go back to the volume, we see a little bit of green right here, so it could be a sign that something's about to go up. But that's short term. This is very short term. This is a 3-minute chart. We still need to draw lines. And one of the things I want to look at is these sell-offs right here. The fact that there's a lot of sell activity, we hit this bottom and we do a bounce off the bottom. This is a W bounce. You can go look up. It's considered a double bottom, W. There's a lot of different names for it, but basically it's where you just bounce off the bottom, right? Like a ball would when you throw a ball. And that signifies that you're at the bottom and there's a reversal in the trend. So once again, you just kind of know, you pull the card, you're like, oh, okay, this is going to reverse. So, and 4 days of charts, so this could all be wrong. But in traditional stock markets, when that happens, that's a sign. Down here, we did bump down kind of on the same level, and so that signifies that this may have some importance to being actual support. The more that you have something confirm it, the higher statistical probability. So if this double bottom only hit once, well, that doesn't even make sense. It's supposed to hit twice. But if you have a double bottom hit here, and then you have a last week's previous hitting here, and then the month before that stopping at that same point, you can pretty much safely assume that that is the lowest level of support, and it will bounce off that level and not go below it unless there is a serious difference. And this is where we look now. We have to look at what trend are we on, because this is all about where's the support, what's the volume looking like. We have to identify the trend. We were on a downward trend up until this W. At that point, this trend has now changed and it's stagnant. Without more information, it's almost impossible to say. You can look at the Bollinger Bands and look at the RSI. The RSI is the relative strength index, and that kind of measures the strength of the market. I mean, it's hard to say the strength. There's not really another word for it that I can think of, but how much is pushing to push up or to push down in the price. So the RSI is, go ahead.
But it's kind of like you said, this is only a 4-day graph, so you don't have a ton of
You want to add insult to injury? There's not a lot of volume. So there's not a lot of people putting money into it either. And so that makes it even harder. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So it makes it harder because you don't have the volume either to help that. And so obviously, if tomorrow we wake up and 3 exchanges added BAT, because it's only been added on like 3 exchanges now, then the volume's going to skyrocket. And what do you think that's going to do to the market cap? Some of these coins, you look at the market cap, they have 400 million, right? Well, they have 400 million and they've been out for years. You can look at BAT. And I believe it's at, what is BAT at? BAT is looking at, where is it at? It's, I want to say 230 million, and it's been out for a week. So the potential there is it's not even in the hands of people right now, 230 million. And it's not even in the hands of people. So that tells you, you know, all these flags say in a month, you'll be happy.
Very nice.
Okay, cool. Those little spikes at the very bottom of that chart, It goes, it goes straight up. Those red ones. Is that the sell-offs?
Yeah, those are people dumping. Like one of these was a million coins, and so they say they sell a million coins in the order book. No one's buying a million coins at the current price, so they have to go down, dollars or in this case cents to get all million coins sold, and it causes this huge sell-off.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's cool. That's good information. You're good, Mr. Trades.
Thanks. And it's all stuff that you guys can start learning like today by watching these videos, and then just kind of getting into the community. There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of there's millions of people that are going to try to get you to pay money to learn how to trade. But you don't have to do that. You can just look it up.
So let me ask you. I'd like to talk about
your.
If you got a joke, Rod, you can lay it on us.
Okay, I got a joke. Okay, there was this old lady, and she was about 70 years old. And she decided to get into the dating web, right? And so she put her name out there. And she, in her profile, she says, "I need someone who likes a 70-year-old and someone who won't beat me or hurt me, and also I need someone who won't run around on me, and I really want them good in bed." And so she put that out there, and a couple of days later, this guy answered. They talked, and so she said, "Okay, we can come over and we can talk about it." So a couple of days later, the doorbell rang, and she opened the door, and here's this guy in a wheelchair. And she said, "Well, you ain't got no arms." And he says, "Well, that means I won't beat you." And she said, "Well, that's true. Well, you ain't got no legs." And she said, "Well, that means that I won't run around on you." "Well, that's true." I said, "How good are you in bed?" And he said, "Well, how do you think I rung the doorbell?"
Oh, Rod.
Oh man. Oh.
Mr. Trades.
I was going to be there.
Hey, I want to talk briefly about your program. You go live, and I don't know how long your sessions are. And on there, you try to take an X amount of money. I think your site's not site, but your thumbnail or something says you're going to try to turn 5,000 into 50,000. That's probably no designated time frame. But do you have a regular night of the week you're on, and people can watch you work that, or how does that work?
Well, I try to stream every day. Well, but life happens. So the goal is to turn $5,000 on stream into $50,000. So you guys can see how it's done. You can follow along with me and make money. And it's actually awesome because a lot of people do follow along with me. And so far we made over $10,000 everyone in the stream. And that's not just my profits. I'm just saying everyone in the stream doing these trades. Some people are trading $50, but some people are trading more money than I'm trading. And so it's pretty fun. The goal is 50 grand. Obviously, if I make more, then I make more. Then the next segment is going to be 50 grand to $500,000, and you guys will be able to watch that too. A lot of people don't think. A lot of people don't think that I would be able to get it in a month, and I'll tell you, I didn't think I was going to get it in a month either. So even though I try to stream every single day, I can't stream. A lot of this is boring. I mean, I'm not showing you my pages, but I try to be a character on stream, and it takes a lot of energy. And a lot of times you have people telling you things. A lot of people like to screw with you. And so you can't do it for very long and be able to make money doing it. There's a lot of times where you're reading the chat and you're like, oh, wait, Sidecoin's pumping? Okay, let me sell my Ether. And then you sell your Ether, and then you go to Sidecoin. Oh, Sidecoin's dumping. Okay, let me get back on Ether. Oh, Ether's just gone up $5. Oh, no. And so, and all those times you're taking out money on fees, and so you do things like that, and that's not good. So I try to stream an hour to 3 hours every day. But like I said, life is happening. So starting Monday, I'll be busy until 3 p.m. every day. So I'll be probably trying to do 2 to 5 times a week, trading at night, probably like 5 to 8 o'clock or something like that. I'm not too sure. It's still kind of up in the air. But right now, I've done a new strategy. I'm still making 50 grand on stream. The last stream I bought all my money's worth into BAT. And by doing that, because of everything I said earlier, I totally believe in it. And by doing that, it's at 22 cents right now. As soon as it hits $5, I will have $250,000
Oh, wow.
or more. So that's going to make me well above my goal, and that could happen potentially in a matter of less than a year. And now that's realistically nice. Now for stream, that's not very nice because I can't come back in a year and be like, "Told you so." But you know what I can do is that's why I've started trading with a smaller amount, and I think I can try new things like how to turn $20 into $5,000.
Oh, that'd be
Or
good.
something like that.
Now, Mr. Trades, just to clarify, you're on the Pacific Coast. So if somebody wanted to pay attention time-wise, he's going to get on, let's say, roughly 5, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast time. So you'll need to adjust your clocks to that, too. Hey, tell us about Bittrex. You hear good, I don't want to say bad, but safe, I guess. Do they respond quick enough for your trades compared to like Gemini? What's your opinion on Bittrex?
I have no complaints. No complaints at all. In fact, Bittrex is the only exchange that I've actually gone out of my way to advertise for, like on social media, because I was so blown away for the fact. I went to this exchange because they had BAT, and I was like, well, no one else has it. I'm going to go here regardless. I hope this isn't a 4-week wait time like Gemini and Coinbase is. And then I'm like, okay, log in. It's like, all it wants is my email. I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to do much for me. So I give him my email, and then I'm in. And it was like deposit money. And I was like, what? So I was like, I don't have to show you guys anything. And I didn't. But, of course I did, because if I want to withdraw that money, I need to. So I showed them everything. I gave them all my information, and they verified me within 30 minutes, which
Oh,
again,
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
exactly. You have 4 weeks because they're small. They haven't had the 50,000 people that Poloniex. Poloniex was at 9,000 or 16,000 users, in I believe in February, and now they're at like 56,000 users active.
Wow.
So they've had a massive growth that they're having to deal with. So there's delays in that. So I don't have any negative. Some people say their user interface, like their display of their website, sucks. I like it, to be honest. I like it. I think it's cool. They have the best built-in graphs, charts that any exchange has ever. They allow you. They have charting tools in Bittrex on their built-in graph. You can take a picture of it. I mean, it's really cool. I like it.
I know we're running out of time here, but let's go over to Bittrex real quick, can you, Mr. Trades, and just kind of show us kind of what you're talking about there. Hey, thanks for all the comments and everything.
I got to get logged in here for you.
Sorry.
We threw you a curve.
So here's Bittrex. You can see these are all the different cryptocurrencies you can play with, and there's quite a bit. And for example, let's go to Sidecoin. Here's your Sidecoin that we were looking at. Here's the charts, and you can see right here, I can change everything I want. But if I were to go to say 5 minutes and okay, now I want to draw some lines, right? Well, I can go to Tool, Line, and I can get my line set up right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe I want Fibonacci. Let's see, what kind of Fibonacci's do they have? Oh, okay, so it's going to be a mix. It's your retracement, and it's potentially also your fan, which is cool. I wouldn't use that one particularly, but it's still. But you can see it's a really nice graph, and this is the user face, and it's not bad. I mean, I like it. I especially like this feature right here. I can just press max, and it will do the max amount of coins that I can buy for what my account has. No other exchange has that I'm aware of. So that's awesome as well. And their fees are not bad. They don't have margin lending. They don't have a lot of volume. Their volume right now is 54,000. So
explain this to me then. Sorry to interject. When you, let's say you start to see a coin fall, Bittrex and Gemini, if you hit sell, they're not backlog. I mean, that'll happen kind of instantaneously.
Yeah, look, so let me get my screen back up and I'll show you what you can see instantaneously. All right, here you're looking at, this is Gemini's Ethereum chart, okay? So say you want to bell right now on Ethereum. If you look over here, this is every order that is currently on Gemini's book. This is the order book. This is what I was just showing you for Bittrex. They have their own order book as well. And that's where the orders are placed. That's where the person says, this guy right here is selling 37 Ethereum at this price right here. Someone just came in for 101 Ethereum above him at a little bit more expensive price. They sold out, and it's just constantly updating. So yes, it's instantaneous. As soon as I put it up there and I press send on my computer on the website, you will see it pop up on this book right here, and you will see the exact amount that you just put in show up on that list.
Well, I know at one time Ripple went from a couple cents up to 7, and I was kind of watching that on Polynex, and people were going nuts because they couldn't make their sells happen fast enough. Just too many people.
So a situation like that, if you have a crash and your price is dropping, then what you'll have is, you know how I was saying, oh, here's a guy above him. Well, like I was saying, you have 56,000 people at Polynex, right? So let's just say you have 5,000 people, and they're all trying to get out of Ripple. Well, you and Ron right here, you're fighting over it, and you put yours at the exact same price, you're going to go together. Well, what happens if someone puts their price right below you, but they send it at the exact same time? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so what you'll end up doing is you're going to say, screw you guys, I'm just going to drop $2. And you guys are just going to have to drop $2 to deal with that. I'm going to get out. And then that's how you'll get like $2 or, in Ripple's case, pennies. But in like Ethereum, when Ethereum dropped down to 130, that happened in an hour from like 200. So you couldn't imagine the panic of people just, oh my God, I got to get out, 140 right here, oh, 135. You would just see $5 drops. It was just insane. So yeah.
Listen, we are so thankful to have you on tonight. I think everybody, your YouTube channel site is called Mr. Trades. And again, Monday, he's planning to be back live. Yeah, we ought to go in, subscribe. We're just thankful you came on with us tonight. We might have a follow-up with you in a week or two. We'll just see how much we can experiment and learn about this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here, you guys can have some homework. We looked over Siacoin, and Siacoin looks like a smart trade. So I'm going to tell you right now how you can make some money. Watch Siacoin, and you have a few hours, or is this the day chart? This is the day chart. You have potentially a few days before it should completely break out. Now, it could break out early. So what I would do is I would watch it, and if you see it drop down to, where's this lower support at? This lower support at is like 528. If you see it drop anywhere from 5 to the 6 ranges, you watch it and wait to find that bottom, which means wait for that price to start turning around. And as soon as that price kind of turns around and you can tell it's turning back around, then you should buy in, right? You'll lose a little bit because you waited a little bit to make sure, but you buy in right there, right? Then you're going to get it. It's a local low. So it's the lowest it's going to get within a few days is the goal. And then, like I said, just watch it. And it should go right up. So you watch it and you watch it go up. And if it doesn't go up and if it starts plummeting, check your ego. Okay, well, at this certain point, I'm going to sell. And if it gets down too low, you sell. You take a loss. And it's your first trade. You lose a little bit. That's okay because your next trade you can make it more. But if it keeps going up, then you go to the same thing. Check your ego. Where are you selling at? Know where you're going to sell at and sell it out. And then you're good. But you can reevaluate too. If you see that there's more volume than you could have expected and we're about to pass your sell point after a minute, then maybe reevaluate because you want to stay in, but don't get greedy. But then at the same time, if you see that there's no volume at all, it's taken like overnight to go up just a little bit, and you're almost at your sell point, but it looks like it could be trickling off, then don't lose all your profits. Just drop it down a little bit, and you may be right. But don't do it preemptively. It's all about checking your emotions.
Yeah, good point.
So you don't want to fall in love with your coin.
Oh yeah, no, definitely don't. Like me and Bat, that's the problem. That's why I've locked him away and I just don't trade him.
There you go.
Well, folks, thanks for being in and chatting. Mr. Trades, thank you so much. Hang on for a second, and we're going to end this. Folks, really, thanks for tuning in and watching this with us. This has been really informative.
And thank you for all your comments, and thank you for your subscription.